Well, hello, hello. It is the day after what? It's the day after Cinco de Mayo. Yesterday was Cinco de Mayo, and today is the day after Cinco de Mayo. So, there you go. I just wanted to let you know that yesterday was a day after Cinco de Mayo. Let's see here. So, let me see. I have an idea about something and I want to see if it works. Okay. What I just did, if you're wondering what's going on here, is I have an image that I am drawing from. So, so you say, well, why don't you show us the image that you're drawing from? Okay, I'll show you the image I'm drawing from. That's the image I'm drawing from. It's a girl, yeah. And I'm going to put her over here on this other thing. And what I'm curious about is I want to see whether or not this shows up in the video, and I have a feeling it won't, other than what I just did just now to show it. So that is my take on that. And I'm just using this as a, what's the word? Reference. I'm not going to try to draw her. I mean, I could draw her, but as she actually is, but I don't want to do that. I want to use her as reference to draw something. Yeah. And I want to change the drawing so that it's more interesting than the photograph. I would say that one of the things that you definitely want to do when you work from photographs is I don't like to draw and use the photograph exactly. I like to change stuff. And my guess is that most artists are like me that way, and that they probably like to do the same thing. It's like I don't know that there's any real advantage to just you know copying something. And I guess maybe there is. I don't know. Well, yeah, I guess if anything, I guess you learn something from um, copying because you pick up little things about a design that you might not have done under normal circumstances. Maybe I don't know. It's hard to say. It's really kind of up to the artist, I guess. Like I'm making her body have a little bit more oomph to it. And another thing too, I like about redrawing or changing something is the way I can look or the way I can the information I can get. Like, okay, so like for instance, she's standing here. She's got this little top on. And so what I could do if I want to get the top a certain way, let's see. I could draw the top in a different color. Whoops, no, that's wrong. Okay, pencil pen. Okay, I could use a different color. I guess red. And using the different color is great because then you can sort of imagine what the cloth is like, how it kind of works around the figure. Because she's got these breastoids, pretty good size. So, I can draw. Let's see. But by using a different color pen, I can make a decision about how I want to draw the clothing. Because I don't have to be. Let's see. I don't have to. I can drape things a lot better because I don't have. I'm not limited. I can treat the clothing separately. You know. And also too, see, there's just things that I'll do because you know I can draw a hand out here that wasn't here, wasn't in the photograph. Interesting. So got that. So now that's the drawing, and that's the photograph. So you see how I kind of changed it. I'm not worrying about the photograph being um, like I gotta follow it 100%. I can change it. So, all right. So now we can go over it. Let's see. So if you're tracing, see, if here's the thing, if you're going to trace a photograph, um, you can do that. You can trace the photograph. But here's the thing. It's better to draw the photograph than to trace it. The reason why it's better to draw the photograph than to trace it is because when you draw it, you are literally reinterpreting it in your own way. You're not um, you're not bound by the what's the word? You're not bound by how things look in the photograph. You're not bound by the way, say, the shape of an eye or you're not bound. You when you reinterpret something, then you're really literally redrawing it. But the difference is that you're putting your own spin on it, and it kind of automatically comes out as your own spin. The reason why is because when you draw it, your brain is now interpreting what it is you're drawing. Your brain is saying, okay, well, the head is this shape and the eyes are this shape and their eyes are doing this, or the head is turned slightly this way or that way. And it's a reinterpretation. Whereas um, a tracing is a tracing. You know, with a tracing, you're just going over something that's already there. You know, so I guess you'd have to. I guess you have to make a decision about. I don't know. I like the idea of contributing to the creation of something. And if I have to redraw something, just the very fact that I'm redrawing it, or I'm drawing it again, or I'm creating it again, it forces it puts me in a position where, let's see here, where certain things have to happen. I have to interpret a line or a form or a shape a certain way. Because if I'm just tracing it, I'm just following the lines that exist that are there already. But if I draw it, I'm looking at the image and I'm imagining that, yeah, it goes this way or it goes that way or whatever. So yeah, it's different when you draw it because you are reimagining it. You're putting it down yourself, and your take on what you're seeing is what you're making. It's not a literal tracing or a literal copy of something that's there. It's a reinterpretation of something that's there. So it's automatically not going to be a tracing. It's automatically going to be um, this is nice too. I like being able to turn the artwork so that it works with your hand. Boy, that's helpful. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so if your hand is going in a certain direction, this is good. This is a good exercise for your hand too, to get your hand used to drawing a line in a certain direction. And you just make, you want to make a bunch of strokes in the same direction. You wouldn't believe how important that is. That's a practice. I think all artists need to practice with their you need to practice your strokes with your hand, with your brush and stuff. Line quality. It can get a little meticulous. Let's see. You really got to get that. See, I can get here. I can get. Let's see. Because see, my hand can go that way a lot easier than if I try to turn my hand that way. I might not get these strokes to be similar, but by turning the whole board, you see, then I can feather in here and I can get this highlight in the middle of the hair. When you see illustrations where artists are doing these hot spots of hair shining, for instance, and this is probably what you're seeing, and they have to, let's see, they have to get the direction. And you're also kind of picking where you want that hot spot to be, because you can have a lot of them in hair. And I used to always debate, like, do I want this to be white hot spots or do I want a color in there? Let's see. All right. I like green eyes. Go to the yellow, go to the green. Too light, or let's see, maybe kind of green blue. That's kind of fun. Let's see. If I want to make them really round, I can just get the elliptical tool here. Let's see, let's put this underneath so we can, whoops, that's that. Let's see, maybe. Okay. One thing about the elliptical tool or any of these kinds of tools. It's a little tricky sometimes to get the whoops, what happened there? Oh, it's just that hotspot's just gone, isn't it? Well, I guess what I could do, go the other way. We can go with that. Let's see. Do it. Whoop. Try to make it as small as possible. Okay. All right, so that's kind of neat. Gee, I wonder if, I wonder. Gee, I don't know. Well, you know what? I'm going to get too far ahead of myself here. Let's see. Go to the red. Well, let's see. Maybe top lip is a little darker than the bottom lip. Does that make sense? Sounds good. All right, so a little bit lighter. So we'll put the color in there. Then on this end, so underneath. So we want to go like that. Fill that in. So then we want to have a dark spot in here. So let's see. And like a shadow under the lip there. So then you could use the let's see. All right. Okay, I don't know how. Oh, that's too much. That's kind of neat. So let's see. All right. We'll pick this color here. What are we doing? The ear. So we want to have matching. So then, let's see. Okay. So now if we go out. All right, so if we go with a color on her face, let's see the hotspot color. Yeah, it's kind of nice. White in the eyes, whites in the eyes. I'll say that's kind of nice. It's very rich. Let's see. So we want to get that color, but we want it to be in here on the scalp. Okay, that works pretty good. Oh, kind of curious about this. Let me see if this works the way I think it's going to. I'm gonna put. Let's see. I'm gonna use a soft lead here, and I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna see if I can put a shadow underneath. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna put a shadow on the eyeball like this, and I'm using an airbrush thing here. Yeah, that worked actually better than I thought it was going to. All right, so then we'll go back to a hard line. We'll use a black again because we want to reinforce this black that's above her eye on the lash. There. Because we want to keep that crisp. Yeah, there we go. Keep that crisp. All right, so we go out. Yeah, okay, see, so we got a little shadow on the eye there. Yeah, that's kind of funny. All right, so, okay, so let's see, we'll pick up. So what do we do? Oh, okay, let's do this then. So let's get this line here. We got, I think, yeah, okay. So let's go up. And I'll put it underneath, so got that. Okay, got this. Okay. I'm going to guess that line there. Yeah, maybe this is in front. Okay. Let's take it out a bit. All right. Okay. So, you know, when you're doing line work, if you want to know how to get smooth lines, primarily what you kind of need to do is you need to practice on a separate sheet of paper how you're going to move your hand when you're making a line, because you need to be able to make a stroke that is consistent, so that stroke is an unbreakable stroke. Okay, so that you know when you make that stroke, you're not drawing back into it. You're making it, and then you're done. See. And sometimes what happens in the process of you doing that is you don't get a perfectly straight sweeping line. Sometimes you get a little break in it, or you know. But what you want to do is you want to kind of learn to live with it. In other words, if it's not perfect, that's okay. You know, it's okay to say, well, you know, that I meant for that line to go all the way around. And this is also the reason too why I go larger, because then, you know, I can kind of, you know, I can hide stuff behind other stuff. You know, I can, yeah. So like here, see, I can do that. No, I can't do anything here yet because I gotta fill these in. So let's see. Let's see. Well, I guess I could. I don't know what color to make these tops. Well, I guess we could use this nice blue. That's real rich. Let's see. All right. So. Well, Now, if I'm going to do what I'm doing here, I need to, okay, let's see, oops, so that, let's see, this is going to dip down behind that line. This is, wow. So what is the deal here? So is this going to come through here and then go around here and then go around there? Is that what's going on? But if that's the case, then what's going on underneath here? So, well, I guess I don't want to try to make this see-through. That wasn't really my plan. Alright. Yeah, I'm not trying to make this see-through. But I think I will. Let's see. Let's go behind. Right there. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Let's see. Alright. Oops. Okay. Alright. Zoom out. Okay. So what are we doing here? Let's see. Well, okay. So I can go boom, and I can fill in here, there. Okay, let's just do one. Well, let's see. Sample that color there. So that's going to go in here. Oh, yeah, I can't fill in right. I can see why that doesn't fill. So let's see. Well, well, I can do that, and then I can do this. All right, then what else? Then I could use, let's see. Oh, well, I could go with the soft lead here, and then I could do something like this, or I could go put like a top line. It's not really following it correctly, is it? Not really. I think that's kind of almost a garish color on the top. You'd almost be better off just making it that color. And then is that better? Kinda. Yeah, it kind of is, actually, isn't it? Let's see if I do. Let's see if I bring my girl back up here. I see, yeah. Well, let's see if I put her. Come over. Okay, I put you over there. Now let's see if I were to use this, and then let's say I use the soft lead, but I get a little bit more thickness on this. So let's say I do something like this, right? And where I describe stuff here a little bit better. Yeah, see, now that's more interesting. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, see, at least I'm describing the shape of her body there. That's better. Let's see. Well, I guess. Okay. So let's go back to the hard line. Let's put. So she's got maybe it's too thick. Drop it down a bit. She's got these little bangles on her. On her arm. She call them bangles. There we go. All right. Let's see. Well, we can do. There we go. So that way. All right. So, what if we want to keep everything the same color? Well, see, here we could go with it. Well, let's see. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. We can do. Well, let's see. What do we want to do here? Well, let's see. Let's go up. Let's see here. So if we go up, and then we do this, and this. These behind. Okay, and if we remove the mask, where's the mask removal? It's right down here. All right, so let's connect all of this down here. So then when we fill the color in, it's not going to slip out. Turn off the roughs. Okay, so a little bit smaller. All right, so then sample that color. So now we can finish off this business. And then with the skirt, I think we're going to go with the light blue. Like that. That's kind of neat. Let's see. Yeah, that's kind of fun. Let's see here. So that was the original image, and that's what I did. So I mean, like I said, if you redraw something as opposed to just copying it, tracing it. I think it's better to redraw it because I just think you end up with something that's a little more out of your head. You know, it's not a fabric. It's not something where you're using somebody else's image to create your picture. You're using what's in your head, and you can automatically, in fact, you just without even trying, you're automatically affecting the image. All of the things that you'd want to change, it becomes more natural when you're drawing it as opposed to just tracing it. Because in tracing it, there's certain things you can say, well, their lips are like this, but I'll make them more like this. Whereas when you're drawing it, it's the overall thing is like all, the processing is coming from your eyes into your brain, back out through your hand and your pencil to make the image you're making. So it's getting filtered through you see. So, whereas when you're tracing it, you're making judgments on the page. I mean, I guess you could say there's advantages to both, and it doesn't mean any one is less art than the other, but I think when you filter it through yourself, I think that gives you, a purer image. That's just my take on it. All right, well, this video is getting a bit long, so let me stop it. And so, hey, once again, have a good day. Thanks for joining me in my little fun drawing time, and I'll see you tomorrow. And remember, Jesus is Lord.